What's up, guys? Today we are going to be finally getting started on the front of this 05 and trying to fix some of the things that are wrong with this. We're going to be replacing the panel that the headlight's attached to and the headlights themselves. So first thing we've got to do is remove these headlights. Removing the headlights is really easy on these. You're going to have, depending on what year you have, either this type of a bracket or a little plastic one that slides down in here, but it's going to be slid down in here with a bolt right here. You take that bolt out, pop that up, and then you can pretty much wiggle the headlight loose from there. And then you really don't need to unhook the bulbs. You can just go in, unhook this one connector right here, and the headlight is free. So we will finally be taking these junky headlights and getting rid of them. And with the headlights out of the way, I can show you guys why we're replacing this. This is what the header panel looks like on this one. Is an entire piece busted out, and there's just barely any of it left through here. I had kind of pieced it back together a little bit once already, but it for sure needs to go. Now to do this, to get this off, the next thing that we're going to have to do though is we're going to have to take this front fascia off, which is not as bad as it looks, and I'll show you what we're going to do. The first thing to do is to reach down in this cavity left by the headlight, and you will see down here your turn signals, and below the turn signals you'll see the fog lights. You just need to get in there and unplug those so that when you pull this fascia off, it doesn't pull that with it. You can actually see the connector for those right here. You can either pull it loose like this or just unplug it in place like that. And then we're just going to leave this in here, leave the other unplugged. That way you don't have to worry about it pulling when you go to pull it off. Then you're going to come over here and you'll see some small 7mm bolts here. There's several of them all the way around that hold this inner fender on. What you're going to do is do the 3 that are closest to the front, which will loosen this up enough that you can get to a bolt that you need to get to under here. And there's also one that comes in from the bottom here that you're going to have to do, and then this will be loose when you get all of them out. Then you're going to remove this one bolt right here that goes through from the other side. With that out, you should have enough room. This should be able to flop around, and you can pull this out and pull this forward enough to get it to the other side so you can reach that bolt. Then the next thing to do, you've got 2 10mm bolts. One you're going to need to go under here to get to. The other one you're going to need to go right through the hole you just made right here. The next thing you're going to do is a little bit weird. If you see that dot there beside that, that is actually a stud that sticks down here. You're going to need to take the nut off of that, and if it's rusty like this one, get a hammer under there and tap that stud up to get it to release from this piece. As you can see, it's very rusty, and it was so tight in mine that it would not come up, because then what's going to happen is when you pull the bumper forward, it's going to go through this bigger hole and allow that to come out. Then I'm going to go along this bottom edge, and up here at the top there's going to be several of these quick disconnects like this, which you can just take some side cuts, pull this middle piece up like this, and the whole thing will come out. Make sure you keep all of those. And then there'll be a couple more of those 7mm bolts on the bottom also. So you take all those out, top and bottom, and then it should be ready to come off. The next thing I did was remove the 2 little quick clamps here and pull this appearance cover out of the way. Then what we're going to do is go down here, take these 2 10mm out, and if you go along here you'll see a 7, a couple other 10s, so just all the bolts along this, and this whole piece should come right off. Then once all the 10s are out, you're going to take these 2 7s loose, but you're not going to take them all the way out because those are slotted. Then you can grab this whole thing, pick up, and it'll come right off in one piece. That one goes in the garbage, and we are ready to install the new one. Also, a little side note, here is your intake and the new one will sit right back in the same way the old one came out with no problem. The only thing you need to look at here is make sure you line up this alignment dowel, the one on the other side, and your two down here. It should sit just fine. Then you're just going to put all those tins back you just took out, and at that point you just reverse the order and how you took the bumper cover off and just put everything back. And then the biggest moment for me, we are putting in some new headlights, which this car very badly needs. So let's get those in and we'll see what the front end looks like now. And a quick side note before we finish this video up. About a week ago, I think at this point, I posted this picture in my community tab and asked you guys to caption it and see what you could come up with. And the results were pretty hilarious. I wanted to read a couple of the highest voted ones by likes and then let you know some of the ones I like, but I definitely encourage you guys to go over to my community tab and check these out, as they are pretty much all funny. But the top 3 that got the most votes were: 1, watch as I waterboard my problem child in public. I like that one. That's pretty funny because there's been many a time I've probably thought about wanting to waterboard the problem child. Also, when you're standing in the doorway of your parents' room in the middle of the night to tell them you wet the bed, then you realize there's a car parked in your house. That one was also pretty funny. It's a little weird, but it was pretty funny. And the 3rd top voted one was, can I borrow a quarter? Which, being that it was at a car wash, does kind of make sense. There are a lot more definitely worth reading for sure, but the only other one that I personally would like to mention was one that just simply said, I'm white trash and I'm in trouble. I've never been so insulted and amused at the same time, but that was hilarious. So anyway, just wanted to let you guys see that, but pop over to the community tab and check out the rest of those. Apparently I've got some pretty creative people in my viewership here. But anyway, I'll return you to the regular video. So that was one big improvement for the 05 as far as the front end goes. This is still going to need paint, so that's a future thing. I'm going to have to do that in a separate video. Still trying to figure out exactly what I want to do about that front bumper too. I haven't figured that out either. But now that I have lights that are actually clear, we can also look into doing some upgraded lighting. But all that's going to be in another video. Thank you guys for watching though. Like this video if it was helpful. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much and peace.